everyone, welcome to another episode of the Data Center Audio Experience. Today on our show, we have two guests actually. We have Richard Smaldone, a senior product data analyst, and Elizabeth Cook, a product manager in AI at the MOM project. And thank you so much for both of you joining today. And we're going to be speaking about scaling up in a tech company. So thanks for joining me today, both of you.
Hi, great
Thanks
to be
for having me.
Yeah, definitely. And thanks for coming on the show. Could you both just introduce yourself briefly and tell us a little bit about the MOM project?
Richard, would you like to go first? You want me to go?
Sure. Hi, I'm Richard Smaldone. I'm a senior product data analyst for the MOM project. I lead our data team along with two other fantastic data analysts. And Liz.
Somewhat. Yes, so hi, I am Elizabeth Cook. So I have worked at the MOM project since November of 2019. Funnily enough, my career was, I used to be a lawyer, and then I had two kids and was working too much, which is kind of what the MOM project is all about. So I stayed at home, had a third kid, and then I came back in using my logic skills for data. And I love it. I was actually hired as the first data analyst at the MOM project. So that was kind of a big role to take on for my first role. And the MOM project itself, so this was founded by Allison Robinson. What led to this company was she was on maternity leave from Johnson & Johnson, and she saw 43% of moms leave the workforce after having children. So she wanted to build a platform where moms could find jobs with employers that support work-life integration to fix the problem of moms feeling like they had to choose between work and their family.
Yeah, and I think that's such a great initiative for an overall company structure and just company goal, definitely. And to Richard, how is the MOM project kind of being more data-driven since, data science and data analytics, it's a more newer field. So how are you being more data-driven here?
Yeah, that's a great question. So one of the things is it's just sort of on a foundational level, the reason the company was formed because of the data we have around the number of highly skilled women who leave the workforce when they become mothers, which is around 43%. It establishes our reason for being as a company. Like for example, in January 2021, 275,000 women dropped out of the American workforce, which was about 80% of all the workers who left that month, disproportionately affecting women of color. So that's our reason for being. We use data to bring candidates and employers together, which is something that Liz can talk about when she speaks about the match algorithm. And we use it from an operational standpoint to, like a lot of companies, to identify target markets and business segments to maximize opportunities for the business. That could be in the form of a dashboard that we have that's reusable, or it could be a deep dive if leadership is interested in a particular area of advancement.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm excited to hear more about the match situation here. And so to Elizabeth, of course, every company, dependent on what phase they are, scaling up is very different in a tech company. And so how has the MOM project scaled up over the past few years that you've been able to see since you've been with them for quite a while now? And how do you kind of see it expanding in the future?
So I have been with us since November 2019. And while the MOM project was founded in 2016, just since I've been with the company, we've scaled from around 80 people to over 170, and we are aggressively hiring right now, especially in our product engineering design department. We've gone from 14 when I joined to over 30, and we are actively looking to hire for 16 more roles just in our department. So we are very much in the growth phase right now. We have been an early stage startup because we successfully completed our Series B funding mid last year. And now we're moving into the later stage startup with Series C on our horizon. In addition to scaling up in funding as well as in employees, we've also expanded our product offerings from mainly supporting our internal teams platform and our user platform, which it is for talent to make profiles and apply to jobs and employers to post jobs. But now we are building out more products, community products such as Job Club, where working parents can go and get support for their job search. We're also offering a different type of revenue stream for us with subscription services whereas before it was just marketplace. So we're having to support that as well. And we're further customizing the experience for both the employers and talent, depending upon what will best serve them right now. So we're scaling all over the place. I see the scaling continuing, especially in our product engineering and design department. And then the data team, of course, Richard, as well as the other two amazing data analysts, Vaughn Johnson and Robert Woodward, they're playing a key role in tying up our data governance and ensuring the data for our new products, for all the scaling, is going to be collected in a way that supports gathering the metrics we need for our KPIs.
Yeah, definitely. So it sounds like a lot of different moving parts within your company, definitely, and a lot of growth happening throughout the past years. Even now too, with your company really expanding also. So super exciting stuff to see, definitely. And Richard, so what are some challenges that you've kind of encountered with either growth or tech within this company or just in the industry in general? And how are you kind of ensuring that this transition is going to be much smoother?
Yeah, in general, I find that strategies that work in the startup phase don't always necessarily translate to success when you're scaling up. Like, for example, if you've got a team of 5 people or 10 people, what works at one stage, like if you're doubling that team size, like I think now we've got around 30 people or so in our greater department. It doesn't necessarily scale up. So at some point you have to transition from that sort of sprint cadence to more of a marathon. So we're not just reacting in like a triage mode all of the time. So one of the things that we've done is we're working with more of a structured project management framework. We use Kanban, and it works really well for us, I find. It helps build predictability. It minimizes that whole triage mode situation. It establishes expectations for our stakeholders. It helps us prioritize work a little bit better. And then the other big point I would say is just starting to implement a data governance program. It's not something that's just for massive corporations. I think it's also really important for smaller companies like we used to be, at least. Just if you're a knowledge worker, you need to have good availability of data, accuracy of data, usability of data. Everybody needs to understand what these terms mean, and they need to be consistent across the organization. In terms of getting that in place, I'd say it's good to have a good working relationship with your engineering department, and which is something that we have. And we're also lucky to have a culture that values collaboration and sharing information.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so important to really collaborate and really communicate with everyone within your team. And to Elizabeth, how does your specific work and Richard's work kind of work together and just to accomplish all of these goals for your organization?
Oh yeah, no. Well, the entire data team, right? Richard, Vaughn, Robert, they're all integral parts to our product improvements and product discovery. So at the Mom Projects, we want to make data-driven decisions, and the insights our data team provides, whether it's by conducting analysis to identify important business trends or building out reporting and self-serve tools so product managers can keep an eye on key metrics, that's what helps us identify and prioritize our user problems. For example, let's say, me and Richard, I'll identify a Richard problem. So many Richard problems. No, I'm joking.
It's true.
Never a Richard problem, a user problem. And then let's say, I'll reach out to Richard and I'm going to be like, hey, I have a low fill rate and I'm going to make up something in welding. And our accuracy indicators are showing match is not performing as well in welding as our other areas. So I would call a meeting with Richard, with the talent product manager, the employer product manager, and we would all brainstorm hypotheses together. And we would rely on Richard to let us know if we have the data to look into these questions that we have. What other considerations or confounding factors we need to be aware of, suggest metrics to examine for us to test out our hypotheses. And then it's also very iterative. So we would have that meeting and then we wouldn't just send Richard off into the night and hope he comes back in the morning. We would go ahead and have him go, and then we would have them come back and see what the initial analyses show us, and we could pivot accordingly. So it's really an integral part throughout our entire product process, data working with us for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And Elizabeth, I know you had also mentioned about this AI match algorithm product that you and your team are working on. And could you tell the audience a bit more about what this is?
Yeah, of course. So connecting qualified talent with employers that get it is our mission. So Match has always been an integral part of our business. Our Chief Research and Analytics Officer, Dr. Pam Combe, and our data scientist, Noah Califat-Combe, they've driven the Match algorithm since its inception, since the beginning part of the company. So they initially used a combination of principal component analysis and factor analysis to originally determine the drivers that matter, and then a derivative of partial least squares regression to determine optimal weightings. So from there, they shifted to linear regression modeling, and now another shift, we are making the switch to neural networks. We are actively doing that as we speak. How Match kind of works, as much as I can say, is that it creates a series of similarities scores based on matching attributes between projects and moms. And it's not just like the typical things that you would get from other job boards of past experiences. We're also looking at life factors of what the moms, our talent, are telling us they want from a job. So we're looking at all of that, and these scores are used by our AI solution that layers together a proprietary algorithm and a TensorFlow model to help notify moms about the projects most relevant to them and help employers find the moms that are most qualified for their project. Another thing that we're doing with Match right now, and especially as we transition to neural networks, is we're taking rigorous steps in data sourcing, training, and implementation to mitigate bias. This is done through a combination of verification and implementation measures. So right now, Match is going through a lot of transition. I feel like this is probably the biggest period of change for, but Match is something that it's never going to be done. We will continually update it, improve it as technology advances, as we get more data, make sure that it's accurate and consistent. That's why Match has its own product manager, and we're going to be building out other AI products as well. But right now, this is our main focus.
Yeah, and that's super interesting. And is there an specific area of just industries that these moms are being kind of connected to these certain jobs, or is it just kind of any industry really? I admit we don't really specialize in welding. It is mainly, we have a lot of qualified moms that have degrees, right? Bachelor's degrees or higher. And so it is more of those types, of jobs. We have technology, marketing, financial, sales, customer service. I'm naming off our top, what we refer to as superpowers, but our top categories right now. So we have a wide range, right? Say our biggest core amount is probably in those initial 5. And then yes, that for people who have at least a bachelor's degree. Yeah, no, I think that's super interesting how this algorithm's matching up moms to these specific jobs. So super cool stuff that your company's working on. And Richard, so how do you kind of envision the future of just data infrastructure changing in general?
In general, I can speak to, I think what we're seeing at the Mom Project, which at that, I would say, I was lucky to come on board after we had moved a lot of our analytics backend to Redshift. Prior to that, it was in MySQL. So a lot of what I'm doing is starting to transition a lot of the reporting logic from that MySQL OLTP environment to the Redshift environment. Like right now, it's just a copy of those production tables. But in the future, like what we're hoping to do is move forward into more of like a data mart setup once our data strategy matures a little bit more. And then I know it's not part of infrastructure, but I would just hammer on the data governance component of it as well, because that's sort of acts as the foundation for any type of good reporting that you're going to be building.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've had so many different guests on the show talk about data governance and the importance of it as well. So it sounds like nothing has really changed. So every industry, every company really wants to really hone in on data governance, definitely. And so I wanted to say thank you so much, Richard and Elizabeth, for joining us on the show today. It was such a pleasure to have both of you. And we at the Data Standard, we're trying to build a community where all of our thought leaders can just come together, network, collaborate, and connect with one another. So what is something the community could help both of you do?
Yeah, so right now we're hiring for a variety of data-related roles, including a head of data science. So you could come out and be my boss, data engineer, data scientists, back-end software engineers. And I think that the types of people who are listening to a data podcast would be exactly the kind of people that we'd be looking for.
Yes, that is extremely true. Would love anybody who already listens to data podcasts. On my end, it would be, to please help join us in our movement of trying to improve work-life integration. And even though, yes, we are called the Mom Project, we're not just about moms, it's working parents, caregivers, any of that. So using your company, your policies to help hire working parents, help advance this. Join us in the Momifesto. I think that's probably the best way to explain it is our Momifesto is commit to the success of women, of caregivers, of parents, of people, boldly upend the status quo, stand on the right side of history, take up space and speak up often, be empathetic, be genuine, be respectful, build a better workplace and a better world for you, for her, for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And where can everyone find both of you online?
So I'm on LinkedIn /RSMALDONE.
Yes, I am also on LinkedIn. I'm not as prepared as Richard, but if you search for Elizabeth Cook, the Mom Project, I'll come up. And then the Mom Project, we are on LinkedIn and Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook are probably the ones that we're most active on. So please come on over there and check us out.
Yeah, perfect. And to our audience, for more information on the Data Standard, you can find us at www.datastandard.io, as well as on our LinkedIn and YouTube channel. So thank you so much for both of you for joining us today. It was such a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thanks so much, Catherine.
Thank you.